Hey, Eric, we want to jump in here just a little bit before we get back into Barry Manilow and Mandy, and we're going to be talking to Howie Harkema. Hey, thanks for sitting in for me this morning while I got some shut-eye. Really appreciate it. And listeners, hey, thank you very much for your patience. We've got a vision for doing this radio station where we just give you a little bit of background what's going on behind the scenes. The parts, we just ordered $22,000 in parts for the antenna upgrade. That's if you remember way back when, 6 months ago or a year ago, when the station went off the air for 3 months because the owners the owner of the station and the guy who was trying to buy it couldn't come to terms on who was going to fix the problem. Well, we're fixing it, and it's taken $22,000 in parts. Those are bought, paid for. They're on their way. This spring, we're going to fix the problem at the tower. And the problem is the tuning network between the two towers. At nighttime right now, we're operating under a supplemental temporary authority, an STA from the FCC. Hope you keep the letters right. STA from the FCC. And that allows us to operate at 25% of our usual nighttime power. All right, instead of about 850 watts, we're operating, give or take, 221 watts at night. And on a single omnidirectional pattern where the amount of energy we radiate is the same in all directions. So at nighttime, AM radio stations go on a pattern, which is we have a weak lobe north and south to protect other stations on our same frequency. At nighttime, you can hear AM radio stations from way far away. So we have to go on a pattern and reduce power at night. The network, the tuning network to make that magic happen was not, what shall we say, not maintained, or there were some issues with it. Those issues need to be replaced and repaired, and they will be this spring. So we, this spring, we are going to be working on that here in the next couple of months. The parts are arriving. Our engineer in Portland is going to be building the circuitry, and we're going to be helping put it in. So that is part of what's going on behind the scenes as well. So we appreciate your patience. Just wanted to give you an update on where we are with the radio station. The radio station is doing well. We could use some more advertising dollars. Thank you very much if you're thinking of advertising. We do have some success stories from many of our sponsors that are on. But we've only begun with this radio station to do what we want to do. We want to get it out in the community more. We want to find out what's going on. We want to have the Yam Van and the YC Cruiser in as many places as possible. Just bear with us as we get this internal infrastructure thing fixed. We've been on the air for 6 months. We've made a lot of progress, and we do appreciate your support and your listeners and your advertising and so on and so forth. We are here and invested in this county, and we are going to stay. And we appreciate your prayers, and we appreciate your support. So thank you very much. That's a bit of an update. Here's another update. We've got in our studios right now Howie Harkema, who I just met him. When did I meet you?
Last Friday.
Last Friday. And he's got three major things going on. One of the things we want to talk about is a town hall meeting and discussion about homelessness in Yamhill County. This town hall meeting is going to be Thursday, May 15th at Dunaway Middle School in the A Gym from 5 to 8 p.m. Now, talk to me about this panel discussion. Why are we doing this?
Well, about 6 years ago, I had a vision for a homeless shelter that would allow for education and job training in-house, giving all of the service providers and ministries that need a satellite office a place, and bringing in the free medical clinic, which is McMinnville Free Clinic, into a permanent space. And so the idea for the Compass Center is that there is a super need in Yamhill County. We did our homeless count, which is called the point-in-time count, in January, and we found 1,217 homeless people living in Yamhill County. Thus, the idea was born to do this town hall. I put together a steering committee, and the town hall is so that everyone has a voice. Everyone can come, and they can talk about homelessness in Yamhill County and what we want to do about it. We will have a panel discussion and then have an open free mic session where all of the people that are attending will have a chance to voice their opinions, and maybe we can come to a conclusion and get them more involved in the homelessness issues.
So do we have a site for this Compass Center? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, I've got 3 pieces of land that I'm looking at right now, Dave, and one of them is across from Walgreens. It's owned by Linfield College. Another piece is across from the county commissioners and courthouse area. It's the old PMC building. And the third location is in front of the housing authority out on 3 Mile Lane. It's 1.3 acres. So we're looking at all of those different land plots to make a decision where we would like to do it and what we can afford to do.
What's the timeline in getting this built?
We'd like to do it within the next 2 years.
And where are you going to get the money to do this?
Well, we're going to apply for state grants that are out there. We're going to ask for $1.5 million, and we'll have to do a capital campaign in Yamhill County to raise about $750,000 to go with that grant to make all of this materialize. And there's other grants out there that we're going to apply for that have more to do with bringing employees into the Compass Center to run projects and departments. And those are more long-term grants, such as the Oprah Winfrey Foundation and the Bill Gates Foundation.
Now there's going to be a guest speaker at. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. There's going to be a guest speaker at the town hall meeting, author of Breakfast at Sally's, Richard Lemieux. Tell me a little bit about Richard's story.
Yes, Richard was a very successful businessman up in Bremerton, Washington, and had everything. He had a huge house, a wife, boats, cars, the whole gamut of capital money, and being able to suffice with it. And what happened is that he lost his business completely. It was a printing type, like a telephone book of different medical facilities and doctors and nurses, and it was all printed. And when Microsoft came into existence and changed how we deal with electronic media, it completely shut down his business, and he lost everything, including his wife. The only thing that he had left was his dog and his van. He became homeless on the streets of Bremerton for 3 years, and he came out of that with grace from God, thanks to the Salvation Army group up there, and thus the term Sally's in the title of his book. His dog Willow is what prevented him from going completely over the edge. And when he came back out of homelessness after 3 years, he wrote Breakfast at Sally's. And right now they're working on optioning the book as a Hollywood movie, which I think is imperative because people don't realize how easy that we can fall into homelessness. All it takes is one paycheck or one job loss or a medical situation. But Richard's story is intriguing. It's not unique, but it certainly is important, and his voice is wonderful. I went down and saw him in Sheridan about a month and a half ago, and he's a great speaker, and I'm really looking forward to introducing him to McMinnville.
Where does Richard live?
He lives in Bremerton, Washington still.
Still.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the format of this? We have the speaker, and we're going to be having a panel discussion. Tell me what's going to be happening.
Yes, so here's the sequence of events. We'll bring everybody in, get them seated. We'll do a welcome. We'll have the Boy Scouts do color guard, and then we'll release everybody to grab a appetizer and snack and come back to the bleachers, and then we'll actually start the night. And the sequence is that Richard will speak after the welcome and the food. And then after that, Jay Jagger from the Housing Authority will speak about the point-in-time count for 2014. And then we'll go on to panel discussion, where we can fill in some of our population and community of what is happening in the world of homelessness within Yamhill County and elsewhere as well. Some of the solutions that we found by doing great research. Then we'll open up the mics for all of the guests and audience to come down and ask questions or speak their mind. No voice will go unheard. And then after that, we will have a presentation on the Compass Center, the homeless shelter that I'm hoping to bring to McMinnville, and thus the reason for the town hall, and explain what it is. And then after that, we will have how it will enhance the different service provisions and ministries to have a satellite office at the Compass Center, because right now we're sending our homeless people around for days on end to get their needs met. If one can't do it, then they have to keep moving on. They may not have a car, they may not have gas, they may not have a bus pass. It makes it very difficult. And the very last thing is how to become involved in the Compass Center, whether it's monetary funds, donations, whether it be contributions, whether it be volunteering, etc., etc. And we really want to leave the town hall meeting with a sense of urgency, but also of hope. This is all about hope. Everyone deserves a second chance. Homelessness is misconstrued very, very easily. The word homeless throws all sorts of connotations of laziness and being a bum or a hobo or someone that just can't deal with life, but it's not usually the case. Something has been thrown at them, whether it be emotional or financial or addictive, and these things can be worked out, and trainings can be done to bring them back into our community in a positive way and keep them from falling back into the same condition.
This reminds me of one of the markets I did news in was Bend, Oregon, Crook County, Deschutes County, and there was a former county commissioner that retired. I believe he was a county commissioner. I believe it was Crook County, if memory serves. And they started a project, and they went out publicly with a goal to end homelessness in 10 years.
Yep.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And it was rather grandiose goal, and part of I think the reason they did it was the shock factor. In other words, telling people if you want to make a difference, if you want to make a change, you've got to engage and get something done. And because the first response people had was, you can't end homelessness. You know, there's always going to, and there's a perception out there that some people want to be homeless. What would you say to people who come up to you and say that? Well,
I would say that it's a trigger point for me personally, because I serve the homeless population of Yamhill County on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday at St. Barnabas Soup Kitchen. I also serve them at McMinnville First Baptist Church first and third Saturdays at the McMinnville Free Clinic. So I've come to know these people quite well, and I would say that less than 1% of the homeless that are in Yamhill County want to be survivalists. The balance of them want to change their lives and are motivated to do so, but don't have a way to do such at this time. That 1% that's out there that's dealing, sleeping on the streets and sleeping in parks and wherever they can find place to stay for the night. Yes, there is that. They call it chronic homelessness, but I call it survivalism. It's more like they want to be out there, but there is a way to get to those people as well, to give them a hand up, not a handout. And I believe that the Compass Center could do just that.
Instead of giving them a fish, you're teaching them how to fish.
That's exactly correct.
What would you say to people, excuse me for playing the devil's advocate here, but let's talk about some of the issues that I think people, and sometimes they don't come up to you on mic and say these, but afterwards they'll come up to you and say, well, Dave, blah, 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 blah. And one of the things they say is, okay, and so my first question, I ask that question with this in mind. What has been the response from the community about this? There are some people in communities that say when you do a project like this, you'll just attract more homeless, and they don't support projects like this because of that. What would you say to that?
Well, I would have to say that the community of McMinnville is probably one of the most compassionate communities I've ever seen in my lifetime, and I'm 61 years old, so I've had some time to understand politics, community, and its reaction. I would say that it's not true, that we truly do need to do something about this homeless condition that we're watching occur. It could initially draw more homeless to Yamhill County and into McMinnville, but I think downstream that a number of other communities are going to do this type of thing as well. And I know that all of them were mandated to do a end homelessness in 10 years plan. We did ours back in 2007 and 2008, launched the campaign in 2008 on September 25th. At the community center here in town, had a great turnout, had a great dinner, had great panel discussion and what it takes to end homelessness. We know that it's never going to go away completely. The 10-year plan is in its 5th year. There's a lot been done since then. A number of new soup kitchens have opened up, both in McMinnville and Dundee and Newburgh and down in Willamina. We've set up Sea-Wish, which is the Winter Inclement Shelter Help, at 5 different churches. We have a 6th church coming on board for the 2014-2015 season. A lot of people are becoming much more involved in the homeless issue due to the Sea-Wish and the ministries that are feeding people. And I believe that the conditions are ripe for Yamhill County to have a place like this. Yes, it may cost a lot of money, and yes, it may need some sustainable money from the community itself, but the bottom line is, if we change lives and send people back into community, it only increases the beauty of and compassion of our community. These people that will transition from the Compass Center with training and find jobs and transition out will bring back into our community new ideas, fresh things that we've never thought of because of their past condition of being homeless. They may have ideas that come to fruition that are so positive, and it's so important.
If people want to find out more about it, get involved, how do they get in touch with you?
Yes, I have a Facebook page for the Compass Center. I also have a phone number that they can call, 503-437-4710. That's my private cell phone. I'll be glad to answer any questions if you have them. We're always wanting more involvement in this issue as we move forward. We're really looking forward to the town hall to really be able to discuss this fully, and we're prepared for the questions that may arise.
All righty. Howie Harkema, thank you for all you do to deal with this issue. It's an issue that it's one of those things where you just got to keep chipping away at it in order to make some forward progress, and we do appreciate everything that you do to make that happen.
Thank you, Dave, so much for allowing me the time to be here this morning.
Okay, and we'll have conversations in the future. Welcome back to the morning show. AM 1260 KLYC. We're going to take a short break here, check out some of our fine sponsors that are helping keep us on the air, and then we'll be checking in with ABC News. KLYC, McMinnville, Newburgh. Glad you're with us on a Monday morning. It's 51 degrees and 8:02.